This tutorial is about a dress that has become a mega discovery for my wardrobe. This dress showcases a lovely wrap style at the front, enhancing its beautiful silhouette. The sleeveless design adds a touch of modernity. The wrap panels elegantly fasten around the waist with a belt, adding a charming touch to the overall design. The dress comes in two different styles. View A is a mini dress with 2 wrap panels, while View B is a midi dress with 1 wrap panel. In this video, I'll show you the process of creating a mini dress with 2 wrap panels. The first step is to print the pattern. You can download it via the link in the description below. When printing at home, simply open the file in Adobe Acrobat Reader. You'll have all the sizes in one file, so just open the Layers tab and deselect the ones you don't need, so that only your size and the text layer are visible. Then prepare to print the file according to your size. Make sure to print in actual size. Before you start printing, remember to print the first page with the test square first. Measure the test square to ensure the measurements are correct. If they are, you can continue printing the remaining pages. The pages are numbered, so you can put them together in the right order. Refer to the provided pattern assembly instructions to put the pages together. There is a bit of excess space at the edges of the pages, which serve as margins. You can cut them off from the right and bottom. But now I'll show you a simpler way to connect the pages by folding the corners and aligning the lines carefully. You can glue the pages together using glue or tape, and then cut out the pattern pieces along the outer lines. It took me exactly 15 minutes to assemble the pattern. When selecting the fabric, choose lightweight to medium weight options. Both flowing and structured textures will work well. Don't forget to wash and press your fabric before cutting to ensure smooth, accurate cuts. To stabilize the seams, I'm using 2 cm wide stay tape, which I'll divide in half to use 1 cm on the curved edges. This helps prevent stretching and gives a professional finish. Let's start sewing. Sew the darts on the front and back pieces. Pin them together and sew. Press for a neat finish. Let's get started on adding an invisible zipper to your dress. Join the 2 back pieces at the center back seam and prep the zipper by measuring its length and adding a little extra at the top. Pin and sew below the mark. First things first, make sure to swap out your regular sewing machine foot for a zipper foot. Open up your zipper and place it along the center back edge of your fabric. Starting from the top, sew along the edge of the zipper, working your way down. Make sure to keep the fabric smooth and flat, being careful not to gather it up. As you get to the end of the zipper, aim to keep your stitches nice and close to the center seam. We want a sleek finish. Once you've sewn one side of the zipper tape, repeat the process for the other side, sewing in the same direction and working your way down. Zip it up and give it a quick press to get that crisp, professional finish. Take a long strip of fabric and fold it in half lengthwise, with the right sides facing each other. Then sew along the long edge and one of the short edges, leaving the other short edge open. Use some scissors to clip the corners so they're nice and neat. Carefully use a special tool to turn your tie right side out through the open end. Once it's turned, use an iron to flatten it out and make the edges nice and crisp. Finally, sew a line close to the edge to give it a professional finish. Next up, let's move on to creating some bias tape. To simplify the process, I'm using a special tool known as a bias tape maker. You can either use pre-made bias tape or make your own. Secure the tie to the wrap piece with long stitch length. Pin the bias tape over the wrap piece and sew it in place. Use some scissors to clip the corners so they're nice and neat. Make sure to clip the curved edge carefully so you don't damage the stitching. Turn the bias tape to the right side and sew another line close to the edge. Finally, fold the bias tape to the wrong side of the wrap piece, pin it and sew one more time. Now it's time to add the belt opening to our wrap piece. Place a piece of main fabric over the marks for the belt opening with the right sides together. Sew it in place. Then trim the seam allowances and clip into the corners. Fold the seam allowances inward and press it flat. Sew a line close to the edge to finish off the belt opening. Place the wrap piece on the back piece with the right sides together. Pin everything in place and start sewing. Just make sure to be careful not to accidentally stitch the belt opening. It's time to connect the front and back pieces by sewing together at the shoulder and side seams up to the cute little slit marks we've got. Pin everything securely and stitch using a 1 cm seam allowance over the first stitching. Once you're done, press the seams open for that polished look. Take your bias tape, fold up the short edge, and attach it over the armhole. Then turn the bias tape to the right side and top stitch all around the armhole. Don't forget to clip the seam allowance every 2 cm, being careful not to damage the stitching. Fold the bias tape to the inside of the armhole and the neck, pin it in place, and top stitch close to the edge. This will give your neckline and armhole a clean and professional look. For the hem, fold the allowance of the front piece, press it in place, then fold and press it again. And sew with a 1 cm seam allowance. When your hem is done, top stitch the slit at 5 mm away from the edge. If you have any questions about this dress, it would be best to leave a comment on this video. Please tag me on Instagram when you end up making this dress, because I would love to see your versions and share them on my accounts. Thanks for watching.